Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Benji-Sales live chat. It's so good to be back. It's so good to see everybody. How are you doing today? We're doing the very rare second live chat of the week. I usually only do one of these per week, but we got some huge news topics to talk about. So I was like, all right, I have to do a second chat this week. Like, there's no way I could just do one chat with the news that broke yesterday and today. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, the big news topics, of course, Starfield and Redfall, the two major exclusives that were currently announced for Xbox in 2022. Not one, both have been delayed till 2023. This was huge news, crazy news. We're going to talk today a little bit about what does that mean for Xbox, what does it mean for Bethesda, what does it mean for Game Pass hardware, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to break it all down and kind of chat about, see what we think about this. The other big news topic, of course, April NPD just dropped, just came out today. So we have even more numbers to talk about, break down, and discuss. So we're going to go over that all as well. Now, if this is your first time ever as part of my live chat, the way this works, it's a stream, it's a show, it's 100% driven by you, your comments, your questions. We just break down the latest news in the video game industry and talk about it. There's going to be two ways to do that. First of all, of course, there's the free method. You type a question, whatever you want, it pops into chat, and I get to as many free questions as I possibly can. If you want to guarantee that I get to your question, the way to do that is going to be the super chat option. Type a donation, whatever you want, it pops into super chat, and I get to his super chats immediately. Don't feel pressured or obligated to donate in super chat, just a way to help support me and the channel. I also get to free questions as well. I will warn you today, this isn't about, hey, make sure you donate in super chat. What I just want to make sure to let you guys know right here off the top, I have a hard out today. I did not plan on streaming today. I'm going for, until the news broke, I only have 1 hour. So I have 1 hour today. We're not going past an hour. I literally can't because of work. So get your questions in right now if you want them answered, because now is the time. Now is the time. I'm not hitting all the questions today, unfortunately. So the sooner you get those in the chat, the sooner that I can get to them. All right, I already off the bat mentioned the delays, so let me really quick just give you the April NPD data, so that way you have some context if you have some questions around it, and then I'm going to start diving straight into your comments and questions since we are tight on time today. All right, so for April NPD, first let's talk about hardware really quick. First of all, PlayStation 5 was #1 in revenue for hardware for the month, so it generated the most dollar sales for any platform in terms of hardware. However, in units, it was last. So #1 was Switch, #2 was Xbox Series, and #3 was PlayStation 5. It does seem like, I don't have the raw data in terms of numbers right now, but it does seem like PlayStation 5 more than likely had a better month than last month, considering the #1 in revenue. And then the other thing that we found out from this data is clearly Series S is what drove Xbox Series sales last month. Clearly it was the Series S and not the X. How do we know that? Well, Xbox outsold PlayStation in units, but was behind in revenue. And as we know, Series S is $299, whereas PlayStation 4 is either $400 or $500. So clearly most Xbox Series sales last month were Series S and not the X. So that's your hardware breakdown. In terms of software, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga debuts at #1. Biggest launch ever for a Lego game. This game is just doing unbelievable worldwide. In every market now, it looks like that we have data for, like, at least in the West. It looks like this game is doing really well. So big congrats to the Lego team. #2 is Elden Ring, and the amazing thing about this is Elden Ring has now outsold Call of Duty Vanguard in less time on the market. That's unbelievable. Two things that we can take away from that. First of all, clearly, Call of Duty Vanguard sales, not great, right? Not great for a Call of Duty game, clearly. And then second of all, the flip side, unbelievable sales for Elden Ring. Elden Ring is now the best-selling game of the last 12 months, and it's only been on the market for tracking in NPD for 3 months. Absolutely incredible performance for Elden Ring, and also not a great performance for Vanguard combined to make that result. The other rest of your top 20 really quick, and then I'm diving straight into your guys' comments and questions. Number 3, MLB The Show 22. Number 4, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Nice result for Kirby, because last month it was number 3. So to come out and be number 3 last month and then still top 5 this month, and that's without digital data, by the way, guys, that's a great result for Kirby. I got to imagine Nintendo's really happy about that. 2 months in a row in the top 5 for Kirby without digital data. Really good result there. Number 5 is Nintendo Switch Sports debut. Number 6 is going to be Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 7, this is nice to see, Horizon Forbidden West still in your top 10. Now it is moving down, right? Last month it was number 5, but it is nice to see that Forbidden West is still staying in that top 10. That's good. That's good. That's what we want to see out of Horizon, right? We talked about how the launch sales didn't necessarily look mind-blowing. We want to keep seeing performances like this. We want to see Horizon still stick around in that top 10 or so. That is the potential for this game to do really well long term. So I am glad to see that. I'm glad to see that Horizon is still holding into that top 10. Because this is its 3rd month now. So good to see. Good to see 3 months in a row in the top 10. Number 8, Mario Kart 8. Number 9, Gran Turismo 7. Pretty steep fall for Gran Turismo 7 because it was number 2 last month. So clearly, of the 2 big Sony releases lately, clearly Horizon's having better legs in the US, at least, than Gran Turismo is. Number 10, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Fantastic result. No surprise there. Sorry, I just accidentally lost it. Sorry about that. There we go. Number 11 is Minecraft. Number 12, FIFA 22. Number 13, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 14, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 15, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 16, Animal Crossing New Horizons. 17, WWE 2K22. Number 18, Mario Party Superstars. Number 19, Madden NFL 22. And number 20, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. All right, everyone, that's your main breakdown for NPD. I think my mic is good. I'm not seeing anyone saying that it's blowing their eardrums out. Let's get rocking. Let's get into your questions. Because like I said, I got a hard out today, 1 hour. So if you have any questions, guys, drop them into chat right now. Right now, drop those questions. All right. We have a couple super chats to kick us off right off the bat. Benji here with a 5. Thank you so much, Benji. Hi, Benji. Is it time for Phil Spencer to make changes in the way Xbox Game Studios, Rare, The Initiative, and 343 all had development issues? So one thing that I think we're really learning right now is that AAA development has been a complete mess lately, because it's easy to point towards Xbox, and this is an Xbox related issue as well. So we're going to go into that as well. I'm not letting Xbox completely off the hook. But one thing we're learning is that through the pandemic, AAA development's always been hard. We're literally seeing lately how brutally hard the pandemic messed everything up, because everything's getting delayed. It's kind of mind-blowing how many games have caught delays over the last year and a half. And not only are we seeing delays, we're even seeing last-gen versions now of games getting canceled outright, like we're seeing with Gotham Knights. So here's the thing. First of all, in terms of Xbox, does Xbox need to make improvements? Yes, they do. Because here's the thing. Like I said, it's an industry-wide problem right now, clearly. I mean, y'all, we haven't even talked about it yet. I'm not convinced God of War Ragnarok's coming out this year. I hope it is. I'm rooting for it to still make this year. But I don't think there's any guarantee Ragnarok is for sure coming this year, especially now that we're seeing even more delays and cancellations. So let's hold our horses on celebrating Ragnarok, because we still aren't positive that game's going to make it. I think it is. If I had to bet, I think it is. But for all we know, Ragnarok's going to get delayed too. We had Zelda get delayed. We've had tons of games get delayed. So it's clearly an industry-wide issue as a whole. However, the thing that makes it very tough for Microsoft in terms of optics, they've come out, they've bought all these studios, they've talked big, which they should, about how all of these games are going to be coming out. They're going to have such a high cadence. We've had comments like we expect, a game a quarter. So it is fair whenever you're going to make statements like this, and I get why they do, right? They have a lot of confidence that in the future, these Xbox studios are really going to deliver, and I think they are eventually as well. But whenever you make these kinds of things, right, especially whenever you make a date for Starfield over a year in advance. They announced that over a year before it was supposed to launch, June of last year, and they hard dated it. When you're going to do stuff like that, you are going to get a lot of pushback from the community, especially because this year was already so light on content, right? The thing for Xbox was it was always, in terms of optics for this year, it's going to be really tough that first half of the year, but once we hit that second half, right, we've got Redfall that's scheduled for summer. We've got Starfield that's going to hit in November. There's lots of rumors that Forza Motorsport's going to hit this year. So for Xbox fans, it was always like, hey, this is going to be really rough first half of the year for first party, but once we get to that second half of the year, we got a lot to look forward to, right? We probably got 3 big exclusives. Now, maybe Forza, and we haven't gotten that officially announced. The rumors are that Forza Motorsport's targeting this year. I really hope that gets announced at E3, because if that's also delayed till next year, man, is that going to be tough. That's going to be tough, going basically a whole year without any big first-party games. That's what it would be. Think about that. Think about being a platform holder, and you might go an entire year without a big flagship game. Even for Sony, at least if Ragnarok gets delayed, which is going to be a huge bummer, but at least for Sony, they can say, hey, but we did deliver Gran Turismo, we did deliver Horizon Forbidden West, we did still have some big games this year. For Xbox, if Forza doesn't make it, there's potential they go an entire year without a big first-party exclusive. That is, I love Xbox. I have a lot of Xbox people that follow me. Aaron Greenberg follows me on Twitter. Phil Spencer follows me on Twitter. I'm extremely thankful for it. So I'm not trying to bully Microsoft here. I'm just trying to explain, that's gonna look really tough in terms of optics. And I even made a tweet about this. I was like, I'm very curious to see what Microsoft's strategy is going to be now for the rest of the year, because I think we were all banking on, hey, they're going to push Redfall hard, they're going to push Starfield hard, they're going to push Forza Motorsport hard. Now it's like, man, tough, very tough in terms of optics. So does Phil need to make big changes at Xbox Game Studios? Potentially. I am not inside enough there baseball to know exactly what's going on. What I can say is AAA development in the industry as a whole right now is clearly very difficult, considering how many delays we have across the board from everyone. And they really are in the proof now mode. They need to prove themselves, especially after this. This has to be, in my opinion, the last year of this. They can't keep doing this, because the thing that they run the risk of is that this was already a problem during the Xbox One generation, right? Where there were so few exclusive games coming out from Xbox first party. And they came in with the promise this generation that was going to really change, and all these acquisitions were going to make that possible. And I still believe it will. This isn't doom and gloom. I still think it is going to happen. We are going to hit that spot where there's a lot of games coming out of Xbox first party. But at this point now, they are in the proving mode. They have to prove it can happen and not just, say it's going to happen. So next year is vitally important. This year it's already done, right? We already know the delays. There's really no changing this year in terms of optics. There's some things they can do to help get get third-party Game Pass games, things like that. Next year's got to go big for them. It's got to go big. They have to have a really huge 2023. Have to. All right, thank you for that super chat, Benji. Kellegrim with a 20. Holy cow, that's a huge super chat, Kellegrim, and very generous. And thank you so much, man. It's great to see you, buddy. Friendly reminder to check out the Blood Moon this Sunday. Should be visible from 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Should be cool for the kiddos if they're still awake. Thanks for that heads up, Kellegrim. Was not aware of that. Definitely need to check it out. I love astronomy, love space. How about that first image of Sagittarius A star, the black hole in the center of our galaxy that just came out? Incredible. Yes, that's awesome, Kellegrim. Thanks for the shout out. I will be looking. And thanks for that super chat, man. That's really kind. It's not even a comment. That's just a really nice super chat and cool statement. Thank you so much, Kellegrim. I really appreciate that, man. All right. Couple more super chats. Nuka C, 199. This is the first time I'm questioning my Game Pass sub. Yeah, that's one thing I tweeted. So the main factor here, right? The biggest factor I think here that is going to impact Microsoft. There's a lot of debate right now about what this means for Xbox. I made a tweet. Man, sorry, my throat. I'm not sure what's going on. I made a tweet that I stand by. I think the biggest impact from this isn't Xbox Series hardware. If you look, Xbox Series hardware continues to do well right now, and that's without any games, like big new games. You know what I mean? There's still lots of stuff to play on Xbox. You know what I mean? There's not big new releases right now. We saw in April, yet again, Xbox Series outsold PlayStation 5 in units in the US. Now, it's different in Europe. In Europe, PlayStation's definitely come back, and they were ahead of Xbox in Europe. So that's great to see. It does look like we're seeing signs of PlayStation supply improving. So that's great to see. But what I'm saying, Xbox Series are doing really well in unit sales for hardware right now. And there's 0 games released so far this year that are big exclusives for the platform. So I don't think these delays necessarily have a giant impact on hardware sales. There's going to be some impact maybe this holiday. We'll have to see. Depends on what supply is going to be like. There's no doubt in my mind that if you launch something like Starfield, that will help demand for Xbox Series consoles. But I think the overall demand is still high enough that it doesn't hurt them that bad, maybe a little bit on hardware, but not a huge thing. To me, the real hit they're going to feel from this is Game Pass growth. Just like Nuka C saying, this is the first time I'm questioning my Game Pass sub. There's potential Forza's delayed, and we don't know if it's delayed or not, but there's potential that Game Pass subscribers might go an entire year without a big first-party game hitting that service. And the main selling point of Game Pass, I've said this a lot, don't get me wrong, the third-party stuff's nice, the indie stuff's nice, the day one third-party games are nice, but the main driver, the main thing that's pulling people into Game Pass is, hey, I get all your big $60 exclusive games day one. I don't need to spend $60. I can be subbed to Game Pass, and I get Halo Infinite the day it comes out. I get Forza Horizon 5 the day it comes out. I get Starfield the day it comes out. These are the main pulls for Game Pass, and there's potential here. We don't know. I'm hoping Forza's this year, but there is potential. Those Game Pass subscribers that are paying this, yes, you still get the big library, so it's still awesome. I still love my Game Pass subscription, but that's not a great look for optics that your subscribers may potentially go a full year without any of those big first-party games hitting. I mean, that's just not good. There's no way to differently to phrase that, and I guarantee you Xbox leadership think the same thing. Like I said, this isn't me bullying Xbox. I assure you they think the same thing, that they can't be doing this. So I'm going to keep my Game Pass sub. I really like the library. I really like, especially, this is kind of weird, but I love getting access to all those indie games. Like, I don't know that I would have bought Tunic, but I love getting to play Tunic, and I might not have bought that unless I had Game Pass. So I think it's really cool, but it's not great. It's not great. I see a lot of people posting this, that they're upset that, you know, they're paying for Game Pass and not getting first-party games right now. So I understand it, Nuka. I get why some people are really upset about it. All right, Neo Wise here with a 5 super chat. If Starfield doesn't bring in new subs to Game Pass like they are hoping, is it considered a failure and have Xbox take lesser risks for future projects? No. I mean, Game Pass is doing well. It's over 25 million subscribers. Continues to grow. I think it is going to continue to grow moving forward. However, there's just no doubt that Starfield not making it this year is a huge issue for Game Pass. And I'm really confident Starfield would have generated new Game Pass subscribers, particularly, I think, on PC. PC is really where I think you would have seen an increase in Game Pass subs. No doubt that PC players prefer overall to play their games on Steam than on the Microsoft Store. So long term, I really think that Microsoft needs to find a way to incorporate Game Pass into Steam. I think that would help their subscribers so much if it was incorporated within Steam. You're subscribed to Game Pass, you can play your game on Steam, you still get that Steam experience, but you're also subbed to Game Pass. If they can ever work out a deal like that, that's going to be huge for Microsoft. So hopefully they can find a way to get there. But I wouldn't worry that Starfield itself, when it launches, isn't going to drive subs, because I really think it will. I think Starfield has potential, we need to see, but it has potential to drive a higher new subscribers acquisition than Halo Infinite did. Because Halo Infinite's multiplayer was completely free to play, right? The only thing you really got out of being a Game Pass subscriber in terms of like access to Halo is you got that campaign. And campaign's definitely big, but Starfield, it's all about that single player. So I think Starfield has, if Starfield came out this year, there's no doubt in my mind they would have crossed 30 million subscribers this year to Game Pass. Now with it delayed, I don't know how Game Pass growth is going to be this year, honestly. I would not be surprised at all if they can't cross 30 million subs this year. I hope they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle to increase that subscriber base because, like I said, it's really those first-party games that drive those subs. So it's not great. Oh, Snowbike Mike is in chat. What is up, Snowbike Mike? Kind of funny. Shout out. Thanks so much for having me on the XCast, Snowbike Mike. I just see you. You're the man, Mike. You're the man. Love Snowbike Mike. All right, I think super chats are cleared. They are. They're cleared. Okay. Free questions. All right. DF here. Thoughts on the delays? No games for Xbox this year, literally. Maybe Forza, but well, that's a racing game. Yep, we kind of talked about that, so there's not a whole lot more I can say about that. They need Forza to happen. They need Forza to happen. If Forza's delayed as well, that's tough, man. That is tough. That is tough. They really, I'd hate to say it because it puts so much pressure on Turn 10 to deliver, but man, they need that game to be this year. Or a surprise at E3, right? We don't know. That maybe there's some sort of stealth thing coming at E3. I don't think it's going to be a huge AAA first-party game, but maybe they have something a little bit smaller in their first-party studios that are lined up as well. But they gotta at least have Forza. That's really tough if they don't. Split end. Benji, why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Well, I don't know about that. I don't think they do. Lately, I just get people yelling at me on Twitter whenever I'm near. But thank you so much, Split End. Best mod in the business and good friend of mine. Thank you so much, buddy. Javier Culper. You saw the Silent Hill leaks are pretty real. Yeah, they're real. Looks like Silent Hill's really coming, y'all. I don't think we can say they aren't happening anymore, but interesting the leaker said very clearly Sony is involved, so there's a Silent Hill game exclusive. Okay. Do I comment on this? Because I've always been so shady about my Silent Hill things I've heard. I told you guys a long time ago on this chat, I think it was over a year ago now, that I had heard about Silent Hill games are in development, and I had a very, very inside baseball source on this. I mean, it's like as inside, I'm not going to give a detail on that. It was as inside baseball of a source as you could ever have for this situation. There's no more inside source than this. And what I had said was that we still hadn't heard anything. I said this like, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. And so I was like, maybe that info wasn't real because it has been so long now since I first told you that I had heard Silent Hill is coming and I'm very confident in it because of this source. And had been like, dude, it's been like a year. I don't know if it's actually legit. Maybe this person was somehow impersonating someone. I don't want to go into details, but I was given materials. It wasn't just, hey, I heard this. I had materials on this, okay? I'm not going to say what they were. I had literal material evidence that this game was legit. So I was like, dude, it's been a year. Maybe it was the most elaborate fake of all time. Someone gave me an unbelievably elaborate fake, and they impersonated someone that I researched myself to make sure this was a real person and legit, and I found evidence they were. And I was like, crazy. That is the craziest thing that I've ever gotten in terms of a fake. It would have been the most elaborate fake I've ever had. Today, it looks like it wasn't fake, all right? That's all I'm going to say. Looks like it wasn't fake because if you guys have seen this, very real-looking materials came out from a leak. And the way you can assume this is probably 100% legit was that the person that leaked them, I believe it was Dusk Golem. I wonder if we had the same source on this, by the way. Maybe we do. I haven't talked to Dusk Golem about this. They were pulled down. Like, there's no more surefire way to prove that a leak is fake than for them to get a copyright strike. That essentially shows to you very, very, very legit. So, yeah, Javier, it looks like it was real. Looks like the source that came to me was actually legit. And I'll be honest, I was really questioning it the last few months. I was like, dude, I don't know. It's been a year since you told me this, and I've still seen nothing. I don't know if this was actually legit. Looks like it is. Looks like it is, and Silent Hill is really incoming. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting, right? And shout out to that source. I believe you now. I believe you. It's 100% real. Unless Dust Golem also got the most elaborate fake of all time. Maybe we just both got duped with incredible fakes. But the copyright strike makes me think it's very, very real. Michael Yu. In light of the Starfield Redfall delays and assuming Callisto Protocol comes out this year, what do you rate the percentage that Microsoft will go after Callisto Protocol for day one Game Pass? Sarah Bond tweeted recently that she visited Xbox's partners in California. Callisto Protocol Studios location is in California, so just maybe Callisto Protocol will go on to Game Pass. Michael Yu, it's possible. Here would be my strategy if I was at Microsoft right now. If I'm at Microsoft, if I'm at Xbox, and these guys are way better than me, there's a reason they get paid the big bucks and they're in charge of places, and I'm just a guy here on Twitter and YouTube. So to be clear, I'm not saying I'm better at them. I'm just explaining. If I was in position at Microsoft right now and I knew that these games were delayed, I'd be getting very aggressive with third-party day one Game Pass deals. Because you got to do something for that service, right? You know what I mean? Like, you've got to. Now that you don't have Starfield and you don't have Redfall, you get real aggressive with that checkbook for Game Pass day one deals. Could that be Callisto Protocol? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what these games could be? Does not seem like they can go after Hogwarts Legacy. That game has PlayStation marketing. Usually, lately, ever since the rise of subscriptions, you're starting to see what happens in these contracts is that third-party deals right now that are getting signed, it'll say specifically in the language, can't come to another subscription service. That's a new wrinkle. Didn't used to be a wrinkle before we saw the rise of subscriptions in gaming, but it's something that's starting to get written into these contracts right now. We don't know for sure that the Hogwarts Legacy marketing deal with Sony says that, so if it doesn't, I'm Microsoft and I go after Hogwarts Legacy hard, but right now I'm just going to assume because it was a more recent marketing deal that Sony has language in the contract, you cannot go onto a rival subscription service, for X amount of time. That's usually the way it's worded now. For the next year or whatever, you're not allowed to go into Game Pass or any of the other subscription services. So who knows? Callisto Protocol would be a possibility. Maybe Gotham Knights. Modern Warfare 2 is the one everyone's buzzing about, especially because Microsoft is acquiring Activision. But more than likely, again, that probably can't come into Game Pass, even if Microsoft owns them by then, because the language of the contract must be honored. And I'm going to assume something as big as Call of Duty, Sony has that written in the contract. You cannot go on Game Pass for X amount of time. So it could be any of these games, Michael Yu, but that is definitely something. They got to get aggressive about big third-party deals on Game Pass. They've got to. They absolutely got to. Joseki. Hello, Benji. Considering how many of Xbox studios in recent years had issues shipping basically anything close to great content-rich game, you think Phil should stop looking outside and focus on getting the studios Microsoft currently owns to deliver first and foremost? Reshaping Activision 2 will be a massive challenge. Yeah, these are great points. Don't you think Xbox management is spread too thin? Honestly, Joseki, that is an amazing question and an amazing way to word it. I think so. Yeah, I think you have a great point here. Everyone's always so thirsty for acquisitions. Everyone on Twitter is always so informed. They're so excited to say who's going to get bought next, who's going to get bought next. Maybe Microsoft needs to take some time and step back for a little bit and really focus internally before they go after any more big acquisitions. I've said it before, I still think they're going to go for certain affinity because I think it's really important for the future of Halo to have help there. So I think certain affinities still maybe you go for them. That way you've got that Halo help locked up for the foreseeable future. But outside of that, Joseki, yeah, maybe they need to not pursue any more acquisitions, or at least not many for a while until that they're really flowing. Because like you said, dude, they have so many internal studios now. That is a massive challenge to run. So many different teams spread all across the world. So it's a great point, Joseki, and maybe so. Joseph X1. Benji, how are you? Even with two entire publishers under Xbox umbrella, Xbox seems to struggle to deliver games. What Game Pass will have for this year? Yeah, we talked about that a bunch. Sorry. I'm going to move on to the next one just because we're short on time. But yeah, we did talk about that quite a bit. It's definitely a challenge this year, no doubt. Ulfric Stormcloak, as unfortunate as the Starfield and Redfall delays are, what if Avowed released this year as the big holiday game, considering both Jez and Cloberall saw a good chunk of gameplay of it last year? Not going to happen, Ulfric. I can tell you that right now. Avowed is not coming this year. It looks like it's probably going to come next year, maybe. But it's hard to say on dates right now, right? We're really learning that. I just saw the Dead Space remake get a January 27th date announcement, and I'm really excited, but also part of me is like, is it really going to come out January 27th? Like, we're getting ingrained on that now, that it's just like any date you see, you need to question it. It doesn't matter at this point. Delays have always been a thing in the industry, but they've gotten so severe since the pandemic. So, Dead Space, I hope you're there, but I'm not convinced you're going to be on that day. I hope so. But, dude, who knows? Avowed, though, is not going to happen. Unless something unbelievable happened behind the scenes and that game just came together incredibly, I would not expect Avowed until 2023. I don't think that game's coming until 2023. And who knows? Maybe even it gets delayed till 2024. It's so hard to say right now. Hammersley Ford, delays suck. I was very hyped for Starfield, but I realize it's for the better. It is. In the end, it's the right choice. They also said they are delayed till first half, not first quarter. How long do you think Starfield delay is? Yeah, so it might not be in January, February, March, right? That's what some people are thinking. It's the first half of the year, so this could be as late as June. I'm guessing the delay is probably going to be... I don't think it's super early in the year for Starfield. I think there's a reason they said first half. This might be more of like a May or June. I think it's probably going to be towards the end of that window than the beginning. Redfall will probably still come out first. I don't know this, by the way. This isn't inside baseball. This is just me looking at it. I think if they thought both would be in the first 3 months, they'd say that. But they said first half, which means they think one of them at least is going to come later than that. I'm going to assume it's Starfield of the two because that's just way bigger in scope. At the end of the day, this was the right choice. It sucks. It's a horrible thing to have to go through, for like Microsoft internally. I'm sure they have so many metrics riding on especially Starfield releasing this year. But at the end of the day, it's better to delay it than have another Cyberpunk. There's just no doubt about it. Look at how bad Cyberpunk hurt CD Projekt Red as a whole. It wasn't just Cyberpunk comes out and man, that sucks and it's a bummer for a couple months. That has impacted the way people see CD Projekt Red still to this day. People question them over that. You don't want a scenario like that. It sucks. It really sucks to not have it this year, but at the end of the day, they did make the right decision. If you have to delay it, as brutal as that's going to be, it's better to do that than to release a Cyberpunk. So they made the right call there at least. Joseki. Changing topic, NPD April came out and we have a new US hardware leader. Yeah, congrats to Big N. What surprised me, however, was not seeing any PS5 increase in the first month of the fiscal year. Thoughts? So I haven't dug into all of the data. People might have mathed out what the exact units are for PS5 because there's some great number crunchers out there that do that. I don't know that we didn't see PS5 see an increase, though, in units. I think it did, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I haven't gone through all the number crunching yet on this, so maybe someone hashed out exactly where PS5 is. If it didn't increase for the month over what we saw in March, that is surprising, especially what we saw in Europe. So that would surprise me, to be honest with you. And yeah, congrats to Nintendo. Incredible what Switch is doing. Hammersley Ford. Xbox's event this year has to be incredible. Yes. Good or great is not enough. Yes. The bummer about this is it puts even more pressure on that showcase. It needs to be the best showcase they've ever had. If you're potentially going to go an entire year without a big new first-party game, potentially, again, we don't know this. Forza might still make it. But if you're going to go that, or best case scenario, one big AAA first-party game, you need that showcase to friggin' hit. It's got to be good. Yes, it's got to be good. There's just no way around it. Like you said, just good, I don't think will be enough. It needs to be great. It really does. It's a bummer to have to be in this sort of situation, but, it is. People would be feeling the exact same way about Sony, right? If Sony delays God of War Ragnarok, I'm not saying they're going to, but let's say Sony delays God of War Ragnarok as well, even though they had two games that were great this year, they were at the beginning of the year, people are going to be really tough on Sony, too, if Ragnarok's also delayed, because they've said so little about their upcoming slate, and then plus if Ragnarok gets delayed, people are going to be pretty hard on them as well. So Microsoft, they got to go big. This June show's got to be amazing. Brian the Savior. Hello, Benji. Hot take. Video game journalists should keep their divisive political takes to themselves. They're paid to write about video games and not for political activism. Keep up the good work. Well, Brian, my stance on this always, and I'm not a super political person. I've made that very clear just because I don't feel like wading into the constant battles over it. I think it doesn't contribute much in terms of like, it's really hard to change people's minds. I'm of the opinion that anyone can make any take they want, and it's a free country. It's a free world, right? Whatever you want to do. If journalists want to have divisive political takes, whether that's the left or the right or whatever, I think they're in their power to do that. And then if you don't like their takes, you have the power to just not follow them, right? Or not interact with their content. People can say whatever they want. I don't really get up in arms about that stuff. Like, people can say whatever they want. That stuff doesn't bother me. I find myself disagreeing with people sometimes that I really respect. Sometimes there's tweets and I'm just like, I don't think I agree with that. But it is what it is, you know? Everyone can say whatever they want. You won't see me like constantly posting hot button topics, maybe occasionally, but not often. Because I personally do just focus on video games and entertainment coverage. But, you know, if someone else wants to be super political, that they have the right to be. But it's not. My stream crashed. I haven't had this in a long time. Hopefully you guys can see me. I haven't had a stream crash in a long time. So hopefully you guys can see me. Wow. I haven't had that happen in a long time. I used to have internet issues, but I haven't had a stream crash in a long time. Hopefully you guys can still see me. Gmaster7 with a 2 super chat. Hey, Giovanni from Twitter here. Keep killing it. Thank you so much. It's really generous. Doing my best. I'm not going to lie. Been a little rough on Twitter lately. People just getting really defensive and freaking out over everything, but it's a little bit of a hot time right now, right? A little bit of a contentious time in the industry. So thank you, G-Master. I get more support than I get detractors. It has been rough on Twitter, though. Has not been fun lately. Hasn't been fun. Been getting yelled at about all kinds of stuff. Depending on who you ask, and on the day, I'm biased against everyone. One day I hate Nintendo, one day I hate PlayStation, one day I hate Xbox, one day I hate PC. It's just like, it's impossible to win. It's impossible to win on the internet. Eddie Brock, do you think it's possible that Insomniac might end their partnership with Marvel as soon as Marvel Wolverine releases? Meaning no Spider-Man 3 because they are fatigued from working on licensed IPs. No, Eddie, they're going to keep that gravy train rolling as long as possible. We need to see how Wolverine does. You know, is Wolverine going to be the next Spider-Man in sales? I'm hoping it is. I love Marvel, and, you know, Spider-Man was such a hit. But we don't know yet that Wolverine's going to be the next Spider-Man, but I really hope it is. But at the very least, that Spider-Man license ain't going anywhere because they are making a fortune off of that, both for Marvel and for Sony. The thing is I think they'll hit the point if people are fatigued about working on Spider-Man within Insomniac, go work on another project, and we're going to have to bring somebody else in because you do not give that up. It's just way too lucrative. Way too lucrative. Like I said, for both sides. It's too lucrative for Sony, and it's too lucrative for Marvel. I apologize about my connection. I keep getting constant alerts that my connection's falling out. Haven't had this issue in a really long time. So it has to be my internet provider. So I'm sorry. Hopefully this stream is still going because I just keep getting constant alerts. No data, no data. Something must be going on with my internet. I'm going to keep going though. I got 20 minutes. 20 minutes I'm going to try and keep rocking. Randy Norman. I think Xbox will be fine. The Series X and S are selling breaking records, and it's important for them to get Starfield right. Starfield can just as big as Fallout 4, and Skyrim could be a 76. Yeah, like I said, Randy, I don't think that hardware actually is going to take that much of a hit. Like I said, maybe a little, but I don't think hardware itself is going to massively suffer because hardware's already been selling even without big games right now anyways. The biggest issue here is going to be Game Pass. Game Pass is the thing. Game Pass growth. That's the big stat. If you're within Microsoft right now, you're looking at and you're like, dang, guaranteed. Guarantee you that within Microsoft, that's the thing where they're like, dang it, dude. Oh, that's going to suck. So that's the big thing. I think hardware will pretty much be all right, though. I think they can get carried by third parties most of the year, but even third parties slim. But I think they'll be all right in terms of hardware. Hardware, they're okay. Kellegrim, the nice thing about these delays for Microsoft is that when they do release the install base for Series X will be better. It's a great point. So they can report better release numbers. That is one, if you're going to have really bad news, the one upside, right? If there's any upside out of this, any upside at all, it's going to be for Microsoft. Hey, at the very least, no matter what, it sucks, but at the very least, Starfield and Redfall, which are both, current gen only games, they're not going to be on Xbox One. That is the good point, Kellegrim. The one redeeming factor here for them is going to be, hey, at least our install base is bigger. So that will at least help Starfield and Redfall early. So that is because they'll be after a holiday, right? You'll have that another holiday boost of install base. So that is the one positive that you can take out of this is, yes, that is true, Kellegrim. The install base increase will at least help their launch numbers since they're not going to be on last gen. Benji here. There are rumors of Disney-related several games being developed by Bethesda. I don't know if I believe these, but maybe. Multi-platform doesn't seem the strategy anymore, right, after Wolverine KOTOR remake exclusive to Sony. I personally don't believe these rumors, Benji, but I hope they're true, because I think that these are really valuable IP that could be successful. I wouldn't say it's impossible. We've seen, Indiana Jones is coming, right, from Machine Games. So I don't think it's impossible that this rumor is true. I just don't know that I believe it. But we'll have to see, Benji. I'll be honest with you. I don't have inside information on that. That I do not have. I do not know if there's multiple coming. Could be. I don't know. So I don't know if I believe it, but it'll be interesting if true. Joseki, Benji, Nintendo's official English fiscal year briefing came out, and in Q4, Furukawa, I can never say that right, basically confirmed they intend to offer the full services of the current Nintendo Switch Online ecosystem on the next hardware. Yeah. Looking at Xbox sales without major Ks for almost 2 years now, I think they can approach this transition phase with their future lineup being entirely cross-gen. Do you agree? Joseki, I do. And it's very interesting that Furukawa is talking a little bit more about next gen, isn't it? Little interesting. There keeps being little wrinkles. Hasn't even said anything about a new platform officially coming, but the way they dodged the question about, is there going to be new hardware soon? In the past, they've been very definitive about it. This time, it was more of like a no comment. Now you have them talking about, they're going to carry over their services. Then you had the comment that came out transitioning to the next console. Our install base is very important to us. And they were talking about how that was a challenge, like, for example, with Wii to Wii U. I don't know. There's an awful lot of talking, vaguely going on about a new generation over at Nintendo. I'm starting to really wonder if that thing's coming in 2023. It's obviously not going to come this year, but I'm really wondering. Joseki, I am really wondering if that Switch 2 is targeting next year now. There's just an awful lot of stuff that points to it's not that far away. I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised if the next Switch is 2023. I really won't. John, I feel like the delays show how important it will be for Microsoft to get Activision Blizzard and filling in the gaps it needs for releasing a game each quarter. It's absolutely true, John. If the Activision Blizzard deal doesn't go through, it's going to be pretty rough for Microsoft. I believe if Activision Blizzard fails, they are going to still need to make acquisitions. If their goal truly is a game every quarter, which is what Phil has said, they eventually want a game every single quarter. If they plan on in the future sticking to that, if Activision Blizzard fails, they'll need to go out and get some more independently owned teams. Because if Activision Blizzard fails, I don't think they'll be allowed to get another publisher. It'll basically be a roadblock in the industry saying, hey, no more publishers allowed. So if that fails, they'll have to get aggressive with independently owned studios. So it's very important for them that they get this. If it fails, they'll have to get aggressive for other studios. Brady Norman, April NPD showed 4 Call of Duty games in top 10 for Xbox. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard will be massive if Xbox can convert people from buying Call of Duty to subscribing for Call of Duty. Xbox will be breaking records left and right. Yeah, it's hugely important. There's no doubt the Activision Blizzard deal is a Game Pass deal. Like, that's what it is. Everything within Microsoft is about growing Game Pass. If you get Call of Duty, even if it's multi-platform, day one on Game Pass, y'all, it's huge. Huge. So there's no doubt. Yeah, that's hugely important for them that this goes through. If it doesn't, that's going to be a bummer, man. That's going to hurt Microsoft hard. Joseki, looking at Xbox Series sales without major KAs for almost 2 years now, I think they can approach this trend. Oh, wait, that was earlier. Sorry. Brad Myers, several Crackdown 3 developers are working on a new project for Xbox Game Studios. Do you think it is possible we could be getting a new Crackdown game? I'm going to make a hot take here. I actually hope so. So Crackdown 3 was very rough in a lot of ways, but I actually had fun with that game. Now, that's not a game I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. So to be very clear, when I say I had fun with that game, I don't think it's some masterpiece. You know, I wouldn't give it a crazy high review score or anything. But, like, I had fun with it, just doing mindless, you know, crazy stuff in the city. I would hope another Crackdown would be better than that. But it's a franchise I think is just, like, fun in concept, jumping around the city, super soldier, basically powering up. Like, it's just fun. I'd love to see a Crackdown 4, but I don't know, Brad. But I hope so. I hope we see another Crackdown. I think they're fun games. DB will rise. Benji, the fact that a video game publisher like Activision is being sold for so much higher than a social media giant like Twitter is pretty wild to me. It is. It's pretty wild that Twitter's valued for less. Strictly speaking, business-wise, these social media giants dropped the ball big time by not appropriately monetizing their base in the early 2010s. This is especially true of Twitter, yes. I personally would have preferred to pay a nominal fee rather than these companies selling my user data. Dude, super interesting stuff, DB will rise. It's not a question that Twitter has done a terrible job monetizing themselves. That's just been known. Twitter is, and like you said, it's a social media platform-wide problem. They don't make it. They are making billions and stuff, but Twitter especially not super profitable. I don't know what the answer is. I would never want to be in charge of a social media platform. That sounds like a true and utter nightmare of monstrous proportions. So I would never want to get involved in that space. Finding a way to be super profitable with it, it's a challenge, no doubt. It is no doubt, especially for Twitter. Fernando Harada. Benji, Xbox Game Pass is 6 months without a big AAA game release. At this point, PS Plus Premium seems to be good value. It has more games than Game Pass and also have smaller day one releases. I'm not going to even get remotely involved in the Plus versus Game Pass debate because people acted like children on one of my tweets about this. So I ain't even going to answer that question, Fernando, to be honest with you. I apologize, but I have had my fill of Game Pass versus PS Plus debates when it wasn't even one I was trying to have. Ryan Thompson. Hello, Benji. What would you hope would be the new release date for Starfield after the delay? Elden Ring released February 25th this year and is a massive success. So do you think it should be February? I don't think it will be. Like I said, I think this is going to be later. Because the fact that they said the first half of the year and not first quarter, it means one of these isn't first quarter. Like, you wouldn't say first half, you would say first quarter if you were very confident it's going to be like February. The fact they said first half to me says it's at least one of them. It could be Starfield or Redfall. Maybe Starfield is earlier and Redfall's later. But considering Redfall was scheduled to release first and it's a way less ambitious game than Starfield, I'm assuming Starfield's the one that's further. So I personally, Ryan, think that it's going to be after March. I hope it's earlier. The earlier I can play this game, the better. It's one of my most anticipated games. But I'm going to assume that this is after March. So anytime between April and June is my guess. When I would put it, April seems like a good month for new releases. We've seen a lot of games do really well in April. I would target April if possible, but we'll have to see. I think we had a super chat drop. We did. A lot of deleted messages in chat. So clearly the mods are going to work. Good job, JCat. I don't know who's saying what, but good job with modding. Usually my chats are fairly clean. So clearly, I'm not surprised considering how controversial these topics are. But shout out to JCat. Good job moderating the chat, JCat. Really appreciate that. Frostbite Slash here with a 5. It's just been reported that Sony and Bloober Team have entered a license agreement, possibly related to Silent Hill. Let me see this. Is this real? I have to be very careful what I say. Very careful. Is this accurate? Before I say anything? The management board Bloober Team with the distribution of selected issuers' titles in the new distribution system. Okay. Well. Okay. Here's what I'll say. The Bloober Team part, I don't know. I'm just going to say it. I've sat on this for over a year. Yes, what I heard was that Sony was involved with Silent Hill. Yes, cat's out of the bag. Yes, that's what I heard. I heard it had nothing to do with Kojima, and I saw materials around this game. Just going to flat out say it. Maybe this ends up being wrong, but I've sat on this information for a friggin' year. Yes, what I have heard is that Sony is directly involved with Silent Hill. Yes, Sony themselves are involved with Silent Hill. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe I'm wrong. I never do this insider stuff. I've sat on this for a friggin' year. Whatever. It's out the freaking bag now, so roast me whenever it ends up being wrong. But yes, that is what I heard. I heard Silent Hill over a year ago now. When I saw materials, yes, Sony is involved in Silent Hill. That's all I'm going to say. So, maybe. Maybe it's the Bloober Team thing. Maybe that's what this deal means. But yes, that is what I heard. Yes, heard that a long time ago when I saw literal materials on this game that Sony is involved in bringing Silent Hill back. But we'll see, okay? We'll see. I sat on that for too long. I've been sitting on that for friggin' ever. Apparently I missed a super chat. Let me hit that super chat. Let me see. I did. Carlos Alvarado with a 199 super chat. Where does Xbox go to fill this holiday? Third party. Thanks for that super chat, Carlos. And yes, that is what I said. It needs to be, they need to go big after third party Game Pass deals. That is absolutely should be where their priority is now. I'm sure that they were already looking at third-party deals for Game Pass. They're always looking for that kind of thing. But now it's of paramount importance. So third-party Game Pass deals needs to be what they do. And they need to get aggressive about it, right? It's just because I think it's important for Game Pass. Like I mentioned, I don't know that hardware is super impacted by this, but I think Game Pass is. So I think you go real aggressive on Game Pass because worst case scenario, you don't want to lose subscribers, right? You always want to be gaining subscribers. And the worst case scenario for Xbox wouldn't be not only that they don't gain subs, but what if they lose subs from people unsubscribing until Starfield comes out? You definitely do not want that. You want those people to stay in that service. So you need to get real aggressive about third-party deals. Don't know what those are going to be. Who knows? Could be Callisto Protocol if that's this year. Could be Gotham Knights. Could be who knows what. But yeah, got to get aggressive. Third-party Game Pass deals. That's where they got to go for. Some people commenting about the Silent Hill. Randy, Benji's a bigger insider than Grub. By no means am I a bigger insider than Grub. I have lots of inside information. A lot of it I don't share because, some of it ends up being completely wrong. And also because I don't like to, I have a lot of friends in the development community now. Or even if you don't want to say like friends, like, because it's not like we hang out. I have a lot of contacts in the gaming industry, and I know how bad sometimes leaks can really hurt these studios. So I don't go out of my way to do leaks. I'll hint at things, like I hinted at you guys that Dead Space was coming back. If you watch my chat, like about a month before they announced that, I hinted, someone asked me, will we ever see Dead Space again? And I was like, gonna see Dead Space again. Like, I'll hint at stuff occasionally, but I don't do the big leaks. Grubb is way more of an insider than me. And maybe the Sony information's wrong, but I had a real good contact on that one. Real good contact. Ryan Epps with a 10 super chat. Holy cow, Ryan, that's very kind. Supporting the homie to please the Silent Hill gods. Keep living, Benji at work, lingering in chat. Thank you so much, Ryan. Hopefully you guys get the Silent Hill game you guys all want. Hopefully. It's not Kojima. I always heard it was never Kojima. Part of the information I got, because that was another thing that went around. It's Kojima. Kojima's making a Silent Hill game. Unless that has changed, part of the info I got was Kojima was in no way involved, but Sony was. That's what I had been told. Kojima is not involved. I mean, there was more than that, but that's one data point I had, was that Sony's involved with bringing Silent Hill back, but Kojima is not. But we'll see. We will see. I don't want to tell you all this is an absolute fact. Just, I had a very good source on this. That's the only time you'll see me hint at things like this is when I think my source is really good. And I did on this one, but we'll have to see, y'all. Like I said, a year went by and I wasn't sure, so I'm still not positive. But after today, I feel a lot more confident in that it was real information. Okay. I got time for just like 2 or 3 more questions, and I got to go. I apologize. I told you guys I wouldn't be able to hit them all today. It was just because I had only an hour. So I'm going to hit like 2 or 3 more questions, and I got to go. JCat, time to admit Microsoft has management issues. It's not just this delay. It's the problems with Halo and stuff we've heard about, Rare, the Initiative, and Undead Labs. Yeah, like I said, it's definitely one of those scenarios that I think Joseki in particular made a great point that Microsoft probably needs to be a little slowing down on this whole acquisitions thing after Activision Blizzard and really focus in on those internal teams now. I get why they, had to get so aggressive about acquisitions in a short window because they really had to staff that up and get ready for Game Pass and get ready for this generation. So I get why, right? I get why they were just like, studio after studio and then 2 publishers. But probably, I thought Joseki made a great point, JCat. Now that this is all, if Activision Blizzard's done, after that, you just really hone in on what you've got and really get that to where it's just like a machine. There's always going to be problems and issues in game development, but at least way more consistency. And I think Phil's aware of that. That tweet he made, I thought, you don't see a lot of people come out and be willing to take some of the blame. I thought Phil made a great tweet. I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he was like, we're aware that, quality and consistency is expected of us, basically. And he was basically saying, we get we're not delivering that. So I appreciate that. And Joseki, I think, made a great point. After Activision Blizzard, really hone in on getting this studios running well. Justin Tanhill, do you think with all the delays the last few years, there shouldn't be concrete release dates anymore for games over 6 months out? I'll tell you, if I was a publisher, I'd be real cautious. Like I said, that Dead Space release date, I don't know that we're getting that game that day. I hope we do. But now, after Starfield and Redfall, any friggin' game that's, like you said, without a few months out, I'm like, I'm doing the eye. I'm like, you sure about that? You sure you're going to be out January 27th? I hope you are. I don't know if you're going to be out January 27th. So hopefully, Justin, that if I was a publisher, at least, I'd be real cautious. I'd be real cautious about release dates right now. And maybe that's a big part why we have no God of War. Maybe Sony really does think they're going to make Ragnarok this year, but they just do not want to put a date on it until they're like 1,000% sure. Maybe after all the delays we've seen in the industry, they're like, we think we're going to make 2022, but until we're like 1,000,000% sure, ain't no chance we're putting a date on that thing. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's why there's still no Ragnarok date. They want to be positive. think we have some super chats coming in here right at the end. Thank you so much, guys. Great chat today. Great stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Wow, Lorenzo here with a big chat. Thank you so much, Lorenzo. Holy cow. I'm not sure what this currency is, but thank you so much. On the NPD charts, thank you so much, Lorenzo. On the NPD charts, Horizon is at number 4 as the best seller of 2022, at least on the US. And 2022, it has sold more units than Call of Duty Vanguard. Yeah, so Vanguard, like we mentioned, let me double check this. I'm 99% sure you're right. But since I have it pulled up, let me just make sure before I comment. Since I just have easy instant access to this number really quick. I just want to make sure, anytime I give like a sales thing, I try, it's hard to remember a lot of numbers off the top of your head whenever you're live on a chat like this, So let me see. 2022 year to date. Yep. Horizon above Vanguard. Yep. Cool. I just wanted to make sure before I, went wild here. Yeah, like I said, I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see Horizon Forbidden West Lorenzo still in the top 10 on NPD for its, for 3 months. Very pleasantly happy to see that. Hopefully it continues. Horizon, it looks like, didn't necessarily have the most mind-blowing launch. But I also haven't liked this narrative that's been going around that you see that Horizon's a bomb. There was never any data to show that Horizon Forbidden West was a bomb. There was just enough data to say that this isn't a record breaker. Those are different things, right? A bomb and not a record breaker aren't the same thing. Horizon is selling. It's moving some units. I definitely am of the opinion that, the install base of PS5 is really affecting this game. And I think we're seeing evidence of that. So, yes, it's cross-gen, but I think a lot of people want to play these big flagship PlayStation exclusives on PS5s and not on PS4s. So, Lorenzo, hopefully it continues. It's nice to see it 3 months in a row still in that top 10. I'd love it. If we see Horizon in the top 10 again next month, that's great to see. So, hopefully it keeps it up. And thank you for that super chat. Benji here with a 5 super chat. Coming in at the end here. Benji, what other titles are at risk of being delayed till next year? Are we sure Hogwarts or God of War will make it? Those are the two. If you had to ask me, Benji, spot on. What are the 2 games that are still scheduled for this year that I'm most I don't know. It's Ragnarok and it's Hogwarts Legacy. Because Hogwarts Legacy didn't get any sort of date. It just said holiday. Any game that doesn't have a firm date and it's vague, I'm going to be unsure about. And God of War, who knows? Who knows with God of War? If I had to bet right now, they're like, Benji, put your money down. Does it make it? I think God of War will make it late in the year. There's been a lot of debate. Is God of War going to be soon? I don't think so. I think this game's going to be November at the earliest. Maybe even squeezes in at December. So I think it still does, but those are the 2, Benji. Those are the 2 I'm most unsure of. Ragnarok and Hogwarts. All right, I'm going to take one more free question and I got to go. One more and I got to go. One more and I got to go. Sorry, I wish I could do more, but I'm going to end it with this one because this is a great question. Great question. Ubi here at the end. Hi, Benji. As seen with Lego Star Wars and the various Nintendo titles, why aren't Sony and Microsoft investing in releasing more family-oriented games? This is an amazing question. The market craves for those types of games. You could not be more correct. And I will say one big shout out to Phil Spencer on this. We've been a little tough on Xbox's chat, fairly so. It's kind of hard to have a chat like this, where you get 2 giant delay announcements and just be all sunshine and rainbows, right? There's going to be some tough conversations you got to have. But no doubt, the one thing that I really am glad to see Phil Spencer say, he has outright said this multiple times when people ask him, where does Xbox feel like they are the most behind or need the most improvement on in terms of first party? He has said many times, family games. We just don't do enough games that target families. And this could not be true. part of the monstrous success of Nintendo Switch, don't get me wrong, there's tons of full-grown adults that play and love Nintendo games. Tons. Tens and tens of millions of them. But it's also not a debate. Guys, I work in retail. That's what I do. I literally all day, every day, what I do is sell video games. It's what I've been doing for over a decade. I've been doing this literally almost my entire adult life. That's part of how I got into analyzing sales, is I sell games to people all day, every day for my entire adult life. I sell tons of Switches to kids and families. Again, to full-grown adults too, but tons of Switches every single day, kids and families. Xboxes and PlayStations, I'll be honest with you, I sell some of those to kids and families. I sell a lot more of those to full-grown adults, right, that are buying these M-rated and AAA games. So it is, you're 100% correct. The biggest issue in terms of first party at PlayStation and Xbox is they are not doing enough to service the younger generation that are coming up, and also just families as a whole that aren't going to be playing, M-rated games with their kids. They want something to play with their kids, but they also don't want to put in Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's going to change. Microsoft specifically, Phil Spencer has outright said that they're going to work on that. I know this doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to a lot of us, right? A lot of us that want to play the biggest AAA M-rated, T games. Like, I know it's not the most exciting thing to talk about, but there's just no doubt there's a huge community of kids and younger people that are being underserved by these platforms. On Xbox you have a little bit. You got like Minecraft and Roblox, but you don't have a ton. Look at Lego Star Wars. Yeah, some of that was sold to adults, but again, I sold a lot of copies of this game, and I sold a lot of them to kids. A lot. So there's no doubt, there's a ton of demand for this, and Microsoft and Sony need to improve their output for those people. All right, everyone, I'm going to bounce out there. I'm sorry. I know I missed tons of friggin' questions. I know that this was a tough chat if you're an Xbox fan. I know that there's some stuff that maybe even you got upset at me about for saying. I can't control how you're going to feel about me. I've been getting heat nonstop lately. It's been really friggin' tough. I don't like that stuff, but it is what it is. It's part of having a social media platform. I just got to accept it. But thank you. Thank you. I get way more support than I get detractors. Keep being amazing. I had fun doing 2 chats. I'm not going to do 2 chats every week, guys, but we had a great turnout for a second chat. So maybe we'll do 2 chats a little more often. Not always, but when we have enough topics, if you guys want 2 chats in a week, I'll try to make 2 chats in a week. All right, I'm going to bounce out there. Stay safe. Play some games, and I will see you either on Twitter. Oh, I didn't even do the spiel. Like the video if you like doing these. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter if you're not already. You know the drill. All right, everybody, have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Peace. Bye, 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 bye.